Kathleen Kennedy has signed on for another 3 years at Lucasfilm. Long live the Queen. Rian Johnson's trilogy is actually in peril, it seems. Disney Plus Day sucked, and Lucasfilm still has more creative differences. All that and more here on Chatooine. Welcome back, everyone, to Chatooine. I'm your host, Star Wars Only, with Darth Daddy Longa, Palpa Memes, and the Goldman. As you know, here on Chatooine, we simply chat about Star Wars and any topics, news, and debates in the fandom. And today we got a lot to go through. And what's nice is that there's actually no content to talk about. It seems a lot of this is Lucasfilm itself kind of topics, but a lot of interesting stuff that happened over the past week since we've been here. But before we get into that, please smash the like button, like the channel, subscribe to everyone's channel. It's in the description below. If you have a question that you have to get to us, send us a super chat and we will give you a question before the show is over. Our questions are guaranteed to be the right answers, even if they're not correct. So let's I just actually, you know what? I'll give this open mic real quick. What was the biggest shock to you guys over the past week? Because at least from my standing, pretty much everything that we're going to talk about, the first three topics, which are the big ones, Kathleen Kennedy, Rian Johnson, and the creative differences thing with Rogue Squadron, all that came from one person at the Hollywood Reporter, a former writer for the Hollywood Reporter. And so I deem this person to be extremely credible. But it is unique to see so many people who either like Kathleen Kennedy or don't, who have selectively picked from this news source what they liked. They were like, oh, I don't believe that there are creative differences with Rogue One, but I do believe Kathleen Kennedy got re-signed, and vice versa. You know, that's right. Weird to me. So what was the news that really surprised you guys this past week?
I mean, I would say if I can call anything a surprise, Kathleen Kennedy re-signing, because I was of the firm belief that she was gonna, be gone soon. But then again, COVID screwed everything up, so we don't even know because everything was delayed.
Yeah.
But that, I guess, that you could say is the biggest surprise. Nothing Burger and Disney Plus Day, while disappointing, was not a surprise.
That surprised me. Yeah,
it didn't surprise me.
That one surprised me.
I'm a very naive person. I get my hopes up for these things, and I'm like, guys, get ready, and it's like, oops, my bad.
Their track record.
I think Disney Plus surprised me the most, just because of how it seemed like they were hyping everything up. We were really. I heard from a friend who worked on Kenobi. This wasn't someone who was just like, hey, I heard from the marketing department. He told me, he's like, nah, man, Friday you're gonna get a trailer, and I guess the sizzle reel was it, but that wasn't. I mean, I'm happy with the sizzle reel. I'm glad we got that, but I really thought we were going to get a lot more. So I was shocked by what Disney Plus had on that day. What about you, Goldman? What's the biggest surprise for you this past week?
The biggest surprise for me, and this is just a personal thing, I can't remember the last time, and this may be very over dramatic. I just feel disenfranchised with Star Wars right now. The Book of Boba Fett doesn't excite me. The Obi-Wan excites me, but I want to. Trailers and marketing are very important. They excite people, and we just didn't get anything. And I think what also just really, I don't think it surprised me that there wasn't anything from Disney Plus Day with Star Wars. What surprised me was how all these leakers and credible people in the community said there was supposed to be stuff. And I'm not saying they were lying or that they were wrong. I think they got valid information and just something changed. I mean, what's it called? It was memed because sometime in, I think, September or October, the Star Wars Twitter account said get hyped or mark your calendars for Disney Plus Day.
You don't want to miss this day is what they said. Yeah.
I think they were going to show stuff. And then in that, people have pointed this out too, how at the end, they showed a 30-second clip of the logos of all the shows that they talked about. And there was the Bad Batch Season 2 was there. Andor was there. They showed Obi-Wan and Book of Boba Fett. And they didn't really touch on the Book of Boba Fett either. They just released that documentary that no one watched. So just they must have just changed something semi last minute. I don't think it was on Thursday. It might have been a few days before, a week before, but just why? But is Lucasfilm in complete disarray right now? Is something?
This could be it. I don't even there could have been a change. there could have been a change, but I'm going to guess that one department doesn't know what the other department is doing. I have a feeling that the social media people who run the social media don't even know. They just assumed, well, yeah, we're going to be getting stuff, and maybe they said, yeah, we'll have some stuff, and they just like started tweeting it out, and now they have egg on their face because
I don't know. I feel like because knowing Lucasfilm, like they're very everything's planned out to the T. Like I don't know if you guys remember back in the day when I think The Force Awakens began its marketing. They had a thing about Captain Phasma, and someone put some weird comment about her armor or something like that, and then the Star Wars official account replied with, "It's armor. It's not meant to be female or male. It's like just simply armor." And everybody like freaked out about it. But even something like that kind of snarky comment, that has to be proved at least by like 5 people before it's actually posted. And so it seems like what Goldman was saying about them like teasing stuff on Twitter and their social media team, like kind of showing off things. It seems like they were marketing Disney Plus Day more than they were actually marketing Star Wars. And it's a very weird situation that we have with Lucasfilm. And a lot of it does begin at the top, which to me is the biggest news of this past week, which is Kathleen Kennedy resigns. No, I'm playing. I
was like, who wrote that?
Resigns, not resigns.
She resigns. She resigns. She resigns her contract over there at Lucasfilm, and she signs on for another 3 years, which I feel like a lot of us kind of expected. I personally thought this was going to happen. I know that she was looking for like other venues to go to. She was looking at potentially like moving up the chain of command at Disney. I think she was just kind of putting her foot out there to really see who would be interested in having her. And I think in the end, she really picked Lucasfilm because, like Lunga was saying, you know, COVID kind of probably threw things up in the air. Things aren't really going as well as planned over there at Lucasfilm. And I have always held this belief that she will stay on until Indiana Jones 5 is completely said and done. So Kathleen Kennedy has re-signed for 3 years. This isn't the only person to say this. The Hollywood Reporter guy, he came out, put it out there, and so did what's his name, Mikey Stutton or something. He came out, I think, he came out a week or two ago, maybe even longer, saying something similar. And so she seems to be here until 2024. Of course, we can all speculate, is that when she's going to retire and whatnot? But I guess just what your guys' initials reaction to this is where we'll start, and we'll yet again go clockwise. We'll start with you, Lunga. What do you have to say about Kathleen Kennedy signing on again?
I mean, yeah, it is a surprise for me because I had a feeling she was gonna leave after a while. But again, I think this whole COVID situation changed things, and stuff that they had planned was all delayed. And not only was it all delayed, it's completely changed. And they're like changing this. You know, I was seeing Rogue Squadron's gone, and this. I mean, stuff's supposed to be happening and not happening and stuff like that. So I think this is like a redo, if you will. Like, well, I'm gonna need a few more years because the last 2 years were just kind of like out the window. So let's do this plan. I think if COVID didn't happen, everything went on the way it was supposed to, she probably would have been resigning by now. But
really,
but this COVID thing, I mean, Indiana Jones 5 would have been out by now, probably, or at least slated.
Yeah. See, what keeps me on the mindset of her staying on is just what she would have done after. And I really feel like she has had this notion since she took over Lucasfilm that she has to end things on a good note. And I feel like with or without COVID, ending in 2021 would not have left on a good note for Kathleen Kennedy. Like, I really feel like she's going to want to look back at Star Wars and be like, you know what, like, sequel trilogy is what it is or whatever. But like something she can kind of be like, I left this company on a high note. And at the moment, movie wise or just in general, like
Mandalorian.
Yeah, you're right. The Mandalorian is great, and I'm sure Disney is ecstatic with what they've done for Disney Plus and everything. I mean, don't forget that is the series that launched Disney Plus. But at the same time, that's not what people know Star Wars for. It's the movies. So I feel like she wants to get something really right with the movies that will have a good feather in her cap to end on. But what about you, Goldman? What was your initial reaction to her signing on?
You know, it's funny. I'm such a toxic motherfucker that I would love, like, conceptually, I love just like Kathleen Kennedy being re-signed to see all people pissed off. But just the timing of it feels like a slap in the face because we get the reports last week that Rogue Squadron is basically canned indefinitely. Then supposedly Rian Johnson's trilogy is canned indefinitely. Then we get Disney Plus Day and there's nothing for Star Wars. And then they're like, okay, now she's signing on for another 3 years. it just feels like bad timing because these aren't good things. You should not have all these movie problems with both Patty Jenkins and Rian Johnson, if the Rian Johnson thing is true. And like you should have stuff coming out on Disney Plus. They just even like show the logos. I mean, for Marvel, they literally just for a lot of their shows, they just reposted saying these shows are coming out soon. Literally, like they didn't even some shows they did release teasers, but others they just said, "Oh, here's a reminder, this show's coming." Lucasfilm didn't even do that. Besides a sizzle reel for Obi-Wan, which was supposedly the sizzle reel that was shown to investors over a year ago or last December, so under a year ago. It just feels like, and then they're like, "Oh, we're going to re-sign Kathleen Kennedy." It just feels like a slap in the face. That's how I feel about it.
Well, truth be told, I think Kathleen's re-signing happened in October, so
probably, but it's just like the timing of the announcement.
Yeah, you're right. The news was very convenient in a bad spot, but I absolutely sympathize with your situation and feel the exact same. What about you, Pal Memes? What's your initial take?
Yeah, I'm with you on Goldman's take right there, where the timing really does suck. I said in my video I made on it, I think she's like disappointed a lot of fans, even like fans of the sequels. She's made plenty of mistakes in the past. A lot of those major mistakes land on the heads of Disney, and they just kind of fall on her shoulders. That said, she still made plenty of mistakes. But honestly, I would like to see, like you guys were talking about, her kind of redeem that. Not just in the eye, because she's fine in the eyes of Disney, right? She makes them a lot of money, so they're fine. But in the eyes of the fandom and stuff, I would really like to see her kind of be redeemed by that. And I think it will happen. I think for the next 3 years, what are we getting? Like the main things are Mando season 3, the Kenobi show, and the Ahsoka show, and more than likely some major announcement for a movie in 2023. I think that's enough to really get the fandom possibly back on board with her as president of Lucasfilm. That said, this news doesn't surprise me whatsoever. It wouldn't make sense, especially during this time, to just completely switch presidents. However, I do think at the end of the day, it was completely up to her choice whether she stayed or not, of course. And Disney was probably pushing her to stay because, well, if you just look at the things they say about her, they love her. So my kind of take on it is, okay, so she's very controversial, but this gives time for her to hopefully redeem from the mistakes she's made in the past. We've already seen that with Mandalorian, even though people refuse to give her credit, which is just absolutely ridiculous. She's the one who created that character in the first place, or at least had the idea of it. So I don't want to hear anyone saying she doesn't deserve credit for that when it was entirely her idea from the start and her way of going about it with, Favreau and Filoni and all that. But that's for another time. And so I'm hoping with the Kenobi show, Ahsoka show maybe, and maybe whatever movie is in 2023, I'm hoping that if these all hit, right on the marks, they really land it for the fans, then maybe things will really turn around for the overall perception of her. And then I think it'll be time for her to be like, okay, my time is up. And then she'll pass on the torch to whoever would be next. So that's my thoughts on it.
So that kind of raises an interesting question for me, at least, is do you guys think that Kathleen Kennedy is redeemable in this sense? Because that's kind of the issue here, is that, let's say people like the sequels and we didn't really have a lot of production issues with any of the movies, just in general. There's no delays, no creative differences or anything like that. If all that happened, I feel like a lot more people would be just kind of moot on the idea of her re-signing. Like they'd be like, oh, okay, like she's on for another 3 years, not that big of a deal. These past 3 years at least haven't really been anything to write home about because she signed in 2018 after The Last Jedi, after Solo flopped, so a lot of people were upset about that. Now it's been 3 years since 2 years since we've had a movie, and the last thing that we had was The Rise of Skywalker, and then we got The Mandalorian stuff. So it seems like there's not much buzz about her staying or leaving in general. It's just kind of expected, but I feel like in order to get the fans back on board, I mean, let's say we get 2023, it's a good movie. Let's say it's an Old Republic movie, people love it. Let's say The Mandalorian season 3, maybe even if there's a season 4, like all that happens, things go well, and people genuinely feel good about Star Wars at the end of 2024. Would that redeem Kathleen Kennedy, or would her mistakes be indefensible? Longa, start with you.
Well, I mean, redeeming. I mean, what is she gonna get redeemed? Is she gonna change her last name to Skywalker? Is that what's going to happen?
God.
To redeem
Absolutely.
Not that kind of redemption arc. Kathleen Skywalker, good God.
But yeah, with just two people nodding and everybody else going, no! But I mean, no, she can. I think two things, and you actually said one of them. If she under her watch, manages to do Obi-Wan right. Do right by Obi-Wan, where everyone is like on it the way they were with Mandalorian and just like loving it, and have a like especially Old Republic, like the Rogue Squadron thing. But if you have an Old Republic movie that a good majority of fans love, that does that $800 to $1 billion kind of money wise, and the majority of the fans are well receiving it, that I think, I mean, the haters are going to hate regardless, no matter how good it is. They cut their nose to spite their face. That's the kind of stuff that's going to happen with certain people. But in general, yeah, if she does that, I think in the eyes of a lot of general fans, Star Wars fans, that could redeem it.
What about you, Goldman?
I don't think so. It's because even when the stories are good, like The Mandalorian's been great, Kathleen Kennedy doesn't get the credit. I mean, yes, she's responsible when things go well, and she's responsible when things go bad. But I feel like the biggest problem a lot of people have with her is not so much the stories. I mean, yeah, people don't like The Last Jedi and The Rise of Skywalker, obviously, but it's just what's been going on more so behind the scenes that's been the biggest problem. There's the whole thing that it should have been her job to lay a plan for the sequels. It should have been her job to make sure that all these directors that she's hired were properly vetted and she was on the same page with them. When more often than not, if you're hired by Lucasfilm, you're most likely not going to get to make your movie. I think that's the math. 4 people got to make their movie, and Trevorrow, Josh Trank, Benioff and Weiss, and now potentially Patty Jenkins are not going to make their movies. So it's 50% chance the movie will even get made. And I'm probably forgetting someone. So if she gets, if the show is made and it comes out, like at this point, it's not a guarantee that if something is announced that it will even happen. So if a show comes out and it's great, I think that's more on the writers than her. Of course, she deserves some of the credit, but I don't think it's going to redeem her in the eyes of a lot of people. If she signed on for the next 10 years and we heard no production problems whatsoever, then I think she will be redeemed. But I just don't see that happening. So no, I don't think she will be redeemed.
So that's what you would need at least for these next 3 years is like no behind the scenes drama. Everything just runs smooth as butter when it comes to
mostly
all the
smooth
upcoming projects.
Yes. I mean, look, Marvel MCU's had 26 movies, and I think one had a serious director change, and that was with Ant-Man. And Star Wars can't even get a 50% success rate. It's bad.
But we are getting some drama now with the Letitia Wright situation and Black Panther too.
Well, that's not so much. That's not really Feige's fault for one, but
yeah, no,
I understand.
But it is different because Feige, I feel like at least comparing Marvel to Lucasfilm, Marvel has a lot more control over the directors and the scripts and everything. Like it's been joked about how like if you're a director at Marvel, half the movie's already done by the time you sign on, because a lot of it's just the team like Kevin Feige being like, oh, we want this VFX and we have all this stuff already planned and done for the movie. You just kind of got to tell the camera where to point at and whatnot. And so they can add their own take on it, but it does feel like Marvel has a more coherent plan and strategy and formula for all their movies as opposed to Star Wars. It does feel like, this is what I said in my video about Kathleen Kennedy's kind of like an overprotective parent with Star Wars. She's really scared to let anyone touch it or do anything with it and doesn't really trust anybody on anything. Like, it seems like Rian Johnson was the one filmmaker that she was actively like, I want this guy to work on Star Wars, and was happy to have him do it. But with everybody else, David and Dan from the Game of Thrones stuff, the guys who were directing Solo, Colin Trevorrow, all these people, and now Patty Jenkins and even Josh Trank, who was going to do a Boba Fett movie, all these people have worked on Star Wars, and at some point in the process, she has gone, I don't like what they're doing. And I understand trying to protect a brand and protect an IP, but it sucks. What do you have to say about it, Palpamemes? And what is this, Longa?
I didn't expect it to pop up immediately. I forgot the way we're doing it now. It immediately popped
go
up.
Pop it up.
Yeah. I used to subscribe to this guy. It was one of those little insider people. Who was it? Matt Baloney. He does the Puck News thing, and they talk about this whole thing. And he's like the only one who chuckled. The news broke of Patty Jenkins Star Wars film, the one that Disney trumpeted with the video Wonder Woman, blah blah blah. Is really taking that long. Well, it's not happening, just delayed indefinitely. If you believe Disney, scheduling problems, prior commitments will remove next year, yada yada. I talked to a few insiders this week and said the real culprit was a dreaded creative differences. Specifically, Jenkins couldn't agree on the script with Lucasfilm, including VP Michelle Rejwan. That's not unusual. It also happens Rian Johnson, writer of 2017's Last Jedi, whose planned trilogy was shelved. The reason why I brought this up is because my question is now, because I've always wondered about Michelle Rejwan, and it's like she does have a lot of clout and a lot of decision making. I'm wondering how much of this is Kathleen Kennedy and how much is actually Rejwan.
She could be thought about that too.
That is a good point, because when I read that I was like, oh, and that's what's interesting. Like when we look at the Josh Trank situation specifically, God, I really wish I could remember the guy's name, but there was an executive producer who was going to be producing. He was a consultant for Lucasfilm, and he was going to be the executive producer of the Boba Fett movie that Josh Trank was going to direct. And he was also the executive producer of Josh Trank's movie, The Fantastic Four. So you can see why that probably didn't line up so well. And I know how the conversation went. Josh Trank went to Kathleen Kennedy's office and said, I cannot work with this guy. Either he goes or I go. And Kathleen picked Josh. So Josh left and whatnot, and I can't really blame Kathleen on that situation. And yet again, it wasn't his issue with Kathleen Kennedy. It was his issue with this certain executive producer. And now when we look at this Rogue Squadron thing, like you're saying, Lunga, and like this report was saying, it seems to be Michelle Rejwan, who is the second in command over there at Lucasfilm when it comes to live action development and specifically the Star Wars movies. She doesn't really seem to have a lot of like input or control over something like the shows, but when it comes to the movies, she is now one of the people that you take orders from. And if she's having an issue, I guess it makes sense why they would delay this movie. But yet again, yeah, how much is that on Kathleen Kennedy? And I just don't think. I think that's already. And thank you, the C. Thank you so much, Simon Kinberg. That is the guy. I can't believe I forgot his name, but yes, he is the guy that Josh Trank had problems with. And so the weird thing about Lucasfilm now is that Jason Ward from Making Star Wars, he said that if Kathleen was going to leave at the end of 2021, which that was up to her, and it seems I've heard, I know LRM Online have heard it, and Jason also kind of hinted at it, is that she was considering leaving, and it seems like their second choice after Kathleen Kennedy was going to be Michelle Rejwan. I do not think.
I think that's her. I think that's Kennedy's like handpicked choice, to be honest.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, I feel that too, and I'm going to be 110% honest with you. At the moment, I don't fucking like it. I don't like it, especially if this news is true. She's the reason that there's creative differences over Rogue Squadron. It's like you are already setting the like bad example from the start, and like you're just now getting into this role, and you're just continuing the same pattern that we've already had. So I'm a little concerned about her possibly being the next Lucasfilm president. But that leads to the question I wanted to ask you guys earlier as well, which is, if not Kathleen, who?
You know my idea. You know who I want.
If any of you say Dave Filoni, you will never come back on Chatooine.
I can't say that. I don't own Disney shares, so
Favreau, Jon Favreau. I think he has the chops and the experience to do it. The question is, does he want to stop writing to run it? But I think as far as his legacy goes, I think if he especially after this, right? Just like you gotta think of the way politics are, the way presidents in the United States are. When you have a horrible president, the next incoming president wants to like make a splash because immediately their name will go down in history of writing the ship that the last president screwed up. And you want to talk about a feather in Favreau's cap of everything that he's done with the MCU and now with Star Wars. If he comes in 3-4 years and becomes president of Lucasfilm, and suddenly, you know, this whole change happens and change of environment, change of feel, and we get the Star Wars that everyone can like, dude, he'll go down in history. I mean, people will love this man forever if that happens.
Yes, that'd be quite a career. What about you, Goldman? Who's your pick? If not Kathleen Kennedy, who should be Lucasfilm president?
Someone just not handpicked by Kathleen Kennedy.
Do you want George? Do you want George to pick somebody again? Do you want him to, you know, shuffle the hat around and see what executive producer he pulls out?
The thing is, I don't know. Like, there's the obvious answer, Jon Favreau. He's probably a good choice. You could say Kevin Feige, but he's too busy with Marvel, and he's probably not coming to Star Wars anytime soon. I mean, I just don't know any other execs. Oh, you know what? I want a Walter Hamada. That's what I want.
I want to spit out his drink. Who the fuck is that guy?
DC. No, you don't.
Oh, no.
There's been enough drama with
Y'all
Walter
thought
Hamada.
Lucasfilm was bad. Just wait. Kathleen's like, y'all hated me. Woo. Okay, you guys ain't ready.
Yeah.
Damn.
But yeah, someone just because this Michelle Ray's one person, I just don't. We really know who she is. Like we hear her name like spoken here and there. She was involved with the sequels. I guess she was somehow related to Bad Robot. Who is this person? And if she's also like the VP, she's the VP. Is that her title?
She's
Vice
the
President of
Phantom
Live
Menace.
Action Development.
That is who she is.
Yeah.
She
So
is
just-
the menace behind the power.
So it's just like no, you don't. When a tyrannical regime is overthrown, you don't put in the second person in charge. You bring someone in new. And I'm not saying Kathleen Kennedy is leading a tyrannical regime. It's just analogy, but someone not related to Kathleen Kennedy, preferably.
What about you, Palmemes? Who's your pick if you could pick
I'm-
anybody?
Yeah, I'm right there with you, Lunga. Believe it or not. I think
mean, you're not
Favreau,
wrong.
like he it's pretty clear, like Star Wars when you talk about Favreau, or maybe it was you, Lunga, talk about Favreau bringing in that fandom together with like everything, and we obviously already have proof of that with the Mandalorian. I'd say like 98.9% of fans love the Mandalorian, and it became a worldwide phenomenon. But I just think I it's clear that he gets Star Wars, not just with what fans want. He gets that part, but he also gets what makes Star Wars so special. Right, he has that he understands that charm that lies within it when we watch these films or even his show, The Mandalorian. And so I just think I don't know like too much about his producing roles and stuff about like overall besides a few things in the MCU and Mandalorian, but from what I have seen, I think he would be great. He does a very good job of giving fans what they want while also giving us a good and unique story that will feel fresh and will give that Star Wars charm to virtually everyone. Yeah, I'm sure he's not going to be perfect if he does take over Lucasfilm in 3 years or whatever, but I think it'll certainly be a lot better than what we have gotten. I think that's a given. But with Kathleen Kennedy, I do think after ND5 she'll leave, and it probably will be Michelle, but we'll see. It looks like she's going that way. She got a
Might
lot
be
more.
worse.
If you look at the
Yeah.
trends of how much I guess power or control she got from The Force Awakens to The Rise of Skywalker, at least watching the Rise of Skywalker documentary, it was pretty apparent that she had a lot more control than what she did obviously a few years ago before that. But honestly, I think there's a high chance of Favreau, I'll be honest.
And is it
I
me?
think
I got a
there's-
question because I looked at the hierarchy stuff. Does it seem like there's just an inordinate amount of directors and VPs at Lucasfilm? It
Oh,
just
there's
seems
so
like
many. There's so many executive producers.
Why is there so many people?
You know what?
Don't-
You know what? Hey, I'll throw this one out there. Colin Wilson isn't he one of the executive producers that you see? Like literally, when you get to the ending credits of The Mandalorian, you see Kathleen Kennedy and you see Colin Wilson.
I don't
I
know much
mean,
about him.
Never
I don't
heard
know
that
much
name.
What
about
do all
him
these people
either, but-
do?
Let me look at
where do
his
they earn their
credentials.
paychecks?
They call people. They
They plan
go
to
to-
do nothing on
they-
Avengers?
They
They-
get Kathleen Kennedy coffee. That's what they
Who's
do.
the
They
who's
have-
the who's the prequel producer? I always forget his name. I love the guy.
Rick McCollum.
Yeah, Nicola. I love that guy.
No, I'm not getting that motherfucker back.
Love that guy.
You know what?
He'll let
I
you
mean,
do whatever you
I guess-
want.
I mean, he literally will. I'm pretty confident he would literally just be like, he'd get in the office and he'd call and he'd be like, "Hey, George, we're back. Like, what do you want to do? What do you want to do, buddy?" No, Rick McCollum
Get those
is.
battle droids out of the garage.
You know what? If Gary Kurtz was alive, I'd pick that motherfucker in a heartbeat. That's
What
for
about
damn sure.
Marsha Lucas?
Oh God. God,
She,
you know,
like,
wait, you know
one
how
Star
bad
Wars
you know how
movie.
bad that would be for George? She not literally the only reason she didn't end up owning the company is because in the divorce it was one of you gets the money and one of you gets the company. And she got
I'll
the
take the
money.
company.
He got
That's
the
the
company.
thing. I
He's
can
like,
make
"I'll take
more
the
money
goddamn-"
with the company.
He's like, "This bitch didn't fucking work on this. I made this. I made this motherfucker."
George
all
getting
right?
like $1 billion a month for the past 10
Yeah,
years.
so she not only gets the money, but then whenever he sells the company, she becomes in charge of the company. Oh, he'd roll in his. He's not even. in
That'd
the
be a
grave.
good
He would-
story.
That would be an
Put him
awful
in the grave.
story. Fuck
That'd be a
you.
very good movie.
That'd be tragic.
We're gonna write this.
George would be
Love
literally
story.
complaining.
Instant heart
He's like, my bitch of an ex-wife took my fucking took my company name. It's Lucasfilm, and her name's not even Lucas anymore. Get
She
a new
literally
fucking
only
name.
likes the movie that she worked on.
Yeah, good God.
I love it.
She likes the originals too, but
I don't know her. I guess.
I think my two
She
options.
cried about the prequels. She wasn't
because they're so good, dude.
Yeah,
Come on.
because they're
Come on.
what the fuck.
I love
I love when people do that. They're like, some guy literally got into a tit for tat with me where he's like, she hates the sequels. I was like, she also hates the prequels, and he's like, show me proof. You can't. And I showed him.
It's literally in these on these same.
Did not get a response.
She had a whole
Motherfucker did not respond. Yeah.
She cried in the car.
She hated the sequels, but she cried for the prequels.
Yeah.
Let's play that me and Marsha would not get along.
I would fucking love to talk to that woman, but I think my two picks, and they're as generic as they possibly could come. But I would
Rian
think
Johnson.
No, God, fuck me. I think Kevin Feige would be the right route to go.
Only if he leaves Marvel for me.
Well, no, he would have to leave Marvel. But
Yeah.
I think I talked about it earlier this year, which was when they were thinking that Kathleen could leave, they were having a couple options. One of them was J.J. Abrams. One of them was Kevin Feige. But with Kevin Feige, like, I think it's pretty clear, at least from what I've been told, and I highly doubt this is like 100% accurate. I take this with a grain of salt, but I think Disney does want Kevin to take a crack at Lucasfilm for 5 to 10 years. Like, from what I said in the report earlier this year, which was they are willing to give Kevin Feige a bigger back-end deal on Star Wars than anything else he's ever done. Like, more than Marvel, probably more than what Kathleen's getting on the back end deal. And that's because they really want to incentivize him to come over to Star Wars and do what he did with Marvel. But I feel like Star Wars, if anything, could be probably more profitable and successful. But then again, I don't think Kevin wants that responsibility and trying to do all this shit again. And it's not like Marvel where you can kind of start from scratch and create a new cinematic universe. You have an already pre-established cinematic universe. So part of me wants Kevin, but I don't like his formulaic style with Marvel. So I think the best option would be let him do whatever he's going to do with the Star Wars movie, and we'll see what happens after that. And maybe that'll be a good route to go. Also, Jon Favreau is a great idea, but like Longo was saying, I want him to do Mandalorian. I want him to finish his story stuff in Star Wars and then move on to possibly Lucasfilm president. Like, that's a role that he needs to go to Disney and whoever's the CEO at the time and be like, hey, it's been a while. I've been doing this for a long time. I'm trying to end my career on a high note.
Well, that's what I'm saying. That's why I think it'd work out.
I don't think
extension.
No, I think he might do something beyond 3 years, because you got to think he's doing Rangers of the New Republic. He's doing the Book of Boba Fett, which is supposed to get 2 or 3 seasons. That's a good question. That's a good question. Is he? Who the fuck knows? But he and Dave Filoni have this planned cinematic universe, and I really, unless it all culminated in 2024 and it was over, and then he can go, all right, well, now I want to do it. I really think that's too soon. I think if anything, the best route for Jon Favreau to become Lucasfilm president is Jon works on his series, probably eventually gets a movie that he pitches to them and says, hey, like, I've had a great time with you guys. Let me executive produce and direct a movie. Or maybe just let me executive produce it and I'll co-write it or something.
I mean,
exactly.
They did say that The Mandalorian, I don't know whose words these are. I need someone to help me out. Where they said it's this whole, all these shows gonna culminate to one huge finale, grand major thing. We don't know if it's a show or a movie. I think Jon Favreau is gonna get a movie that's within that whole Mandoverse.
Am I the weird one? I don't want to see Mandalorian at the movie theater.
Man, I would love it. Imagine like how popular Mandalorian is. Then you get the Ahsoka, which might still be connected, might not. You get Rangers, you get all this other stuff. Then it all comes in, and they're like, "Oh, by the way, this is all going to be a movie for this finale, whatever it leads up to, Thrawn or whatever it is."
Formula.
So like the shows, like they have all their episodes, and for the season finale of the shows, it's all connected to just a movie.
It sounds like fan service. It sounds like fan service.
I don't care.
All these things you love,
don't care.
Throw it into a movie.
It's like Endgame, where like Ahsoka shows up, Luke shows up, Grogu shows up, Mando's just like this line, and Thrawn and his army are right there.
And on to your point, Star Wars only about Feige. I would definitely think I would like him too, and I'm even in favor. I know a lot of people aren't. I don't care. I'm fine with if it does more of a kind of series what he did with Marvel rather than the trilogy. I'd be okay with that if it's done right. But this man wants to finish what he's doing with Marvel, and there's at least a good 5-6 years left to finish.
Yeah, but see, that's my thing with Marvel. Is like I have no idea where the fuck that's going to end, because it just seems like phase after phase after phase. Like it's just going to be a nonstop grind. So that's kind of where I'm at with him. But to me, one of the more interesting things that came from this was the creative differences that happened from the Rogue Squadron thing. They said that's the actual reason yet again why this movie was delayed, and it's not scheduling conflicts. It's not that the script wasn't working. It's the same fucking thing. I feel like fans have a right to be upset, and as you were saying earlier, Goldman, it's kind of hard to be a fan right now of Star Wars. It's really easy to feel disenfranchised, even as someone who runs Star Wars YouTube accounts, and we're all active in the Star Wars community. It really feels like we're not getting anything for our squeeze, and I hate saying that because, truth be told, I feel this is where I do feel like a little entitled, because it's like, well, you're giving me all these shows next year. You have so many things in the works coming out, but at the same time, I should be able to criticize when I see you guys making mistakes and doing things wrong.
Of course.
So what do you guys make of this creative differences issue with the Rogue Squadron, and what would the reason be? Because when we talked about this last week, we all kind of agreed that it's a rough spot to make this movie after episode 9, and if it's continuing that same sequel trilogy story or whatever, or even the timeline. But if we know it's Michelle Rejoin who's having the creative issues with Patty Jenkins, what could this be about? Could it be, is it on Patty for maybe asking too much, or her not delivering? Could she be, stepping on her own foot and just not delivering a good story? Is she demanding too much from Lucasfilm? Is Lucasfilm being overprotective and, craving too much of the story? I really don't fucking know. I just don't know why this is constantly an issue. So, Longa, tell me your thoughts on this creative differences issue with Rogue Squadron.
When it comes to Patty, I'm going to think, because if you notice, even though she claims to to enjoy Star Wars, her vision about this was mostly about her father, right? This was her inspiration, and her motivation was about her father, and so I don't think it has anything to do with Star Wars related stuff, or even the social aspect of everything, the social justice things, or the culture war things. I think it's more along the lines of Patty's like, you trust me to do this, right? This is what I'm going to do, and Michelle Rejoin or other people are sticking their fingers in, saying maybe not this, or do this, or add this, and Patty's like, listen, no, I'm not playing with this.
It's not our
You
vision.
let me make my movie, or I'm not making it.
Mhm.
Which one is it going to be? And I think that's literally what it boils down to, if anything.
It wouldn't surprise me. What about you, Goldman?
I'd like to believe this isn't the case, but it's happened with, I think, exactly every single director that we've lost, where they were hot for a period of time, they brought them on, and then a project they were working on released, and it was a disaster. With Josh Trank, it was Fantastic Four. With actually no, well, Lord Miller worked on the movie, so they don't count. Colin Trevorrow, I think it was The Book of Henry.
Mm-hmm.
The Game of Thrones people, it was Game of Thrones. Patty Jenkins, it was Wonder Woman 84. And those four stories were all mostly negatively received from larger
And
scales
Rian
to
Johnson,
smaller
it was The
scales.
Last Jedi, and they let him go
Yeah.
after that. Yeah.
It was still pretty well received. A lot of hardcore fans were not happy, but it was still, I mean, it didn't fail. It did well at the box office.
Was it though? I mean,
Well,
I didn't like it,
well,
but
I liked
well,
it. But
The Last Jedi is honestly also a little bit on that list because it was just extremely divisive.
Yeah.
They gave him his trilogy, then his story came out. It was extremely divisive, and now they don't know what to do. So I wonder if it's just a pattern of these creators make a good story. Lucasfilm brings them on before they have like a final script going. Then a bad story comes out. They're like, uh-oh. And then they see their screenplay and it's like, we don't like this. And then they're in a tricky situation. I'd like to think I'd like to think that's not the problem, but it's happened literally every single time that a director has left. And it is 4 times. What's the saying? Twice is a coincidence, 3 times is a pattern. What the hell is 4 times? So I don't know.
Yeah, I see what you mean, because even with I think there was one of the directors the writers from A Quiet Place. Right after that movie came out, they went to have a meeting with Lucasfilm on potentially writing a movie or something with them, and they didn't go through with it because the writers turned it down, and they really wanted to work on something original and whatnot. So good for them, but still, like you're saying, Lucasfilm has a pattern of going for people who are kind of breaking into the industry, and a lot of people are giving them attention, and then if they realize, oh, this person isn't what we thought they were, and they release something that isn't good, they kind of get cold feet and they're like, all right, we're not going to work with this person.
You know what they should do? Like before they announce all this shit, they should do one of two things. Either they hire someone once they have a script. It doesn't have to be a final script, a screenplay, a really good outline, so they know what story they're getting. So by the time it's translated from screenplay to script or whatever, there's not much difference. So they don't need to fire someone. Or they work with these directors, they don't announce anything, and once they have a final script that Lucasfilm likes, then they announce it in the director. Not say, oh, like, we're hiring this person, then they write the script and you realize you don't like it. Because it's happened 4 times now. And I've never worked in the industry, but I don't understand why that's not how the system works.
Like if you want, like I get they make announce things because since they're not putting a lot of stuff out, they want to keep it fresh, right? Here's the thing: just do the controlled leaks, okay? Say send a leak to someone that they can't confirm and say, oh, we hear this director's working or this one or this script is being worked on, and there's no confirmation from Lucasfilm. And then when you get the script finalized and you're like, okay, this is good, this is what we want, then make the announcement, oh, the leaks were true, and just do that. That's the best.
To
way
their
to do
credit, it seems like they may be adopting that
Okay.
strategy, because the Old Republic thing that was announced in 2019 from BuzzFeed. They announced the writer, and they said 3 separate independent sources that they highly trust over there at Lucasfilm said that she is writing an Old Republic movie, and it's the beginning of a trilogy. That was in 2019. It's been 2 years, and now we have news from Cinelink's Jordan Mason, who was saying that like him and Big Screen Leaks, and I think even Star Wars News Net were all saying that it looks like an Old Republic movie is actually going to happen, and with everything that we know about next year, it looks like it's ready to go for next year. And like you were saying, Longa, they haven't even announced this yet. So if they come out and they just say, let's say, geez, what an announcement this would be. Let's say in 2022 at Star Wars Celebration in May, they go, I'm making an Old Republic movie. It's releasing in 2023. And they have not even like a teaser, but just like a logo, like a title, simply a title or a little logo or a little small teaser, like, like 1 second where you see the back of some guy, who the fuck knows. That would, in my opinion, not only break the fandom, because everybody would be extremely ecstatic.
Darth Revan mask. That's all you need to come.
Something,
Darth Revan mask.
And if it was Revan, people would freak out. People would probably be worried because they'd be like, oh, he's going to ruin Revan and whatnot.
They're going to make him a girl.
Something like that.
No.
They would find something to go for. But
Revanita.
still, like, I feel like that wouldn't be a bad strategy, is to have the scripts ready and then you announce things. But then don't forget, Longa, what happened when Obi-Wan had that situation. We have
what the hell happened there?
We have the scripts ready and it's all gonna go well, and then not but 5 to 6 months later, it's delayed for script rewrites. We actually brought in a new guy. We don't even like the old scripts. It's like, well, why the fuck did you announce?
But we know, right? I mean, we kind of know. She didn't read them.
Why did she say they're ready?
Because she lied.
God damn it! I pray you're right that she didn't read them, because if she did and then like decided later to, either way, it's indispensable. Like, don't fucking not read the scripts that you're gonna put out there.
You know what's a little odd. You know how we get all these reports of like these hidden shows. Like there was reports that Lando wasn't get his own show. That happened. The reports that Gina Carano was get her own show. That's what Rangers in the New Republic was supposed to be. We're hearing rumors about Old Republic. Before Rogue Squadron was announced, there was no rumors of that at all. So maybe they literally just hired her like semi on the spot and then announced it a few weeks later because they were just so excited.
Gotta get that big name.
Oh, we'll love whatever she writes. It's Penny Jenkins, right?
Yeah, but they also filmed that little fucking motivational video. With
that can be too hard. They
probably
like they would have
a month. They would have had to prove of the name and all that stuff. Like they would have had to been like, okay, like Rogue Squadron. Well, we have a book series on that, so that'd be kind of cool. Yeah, let's do something like that. Like I'm sure there was some thought and like negotiations going into where that was going to land, and then I'm pretty confident with the way the script went or something like that. Michelle Rizwan just stood up and was like, "This is not working, and we're not ready to."
I think we talked about this the one time. I literally think they wanted Patty Jenkins so much. Okay, they had all these ideas. Rogue Squadron was one of the ideas of movies they wanted to make, probably. So they had, they're bored with all these different ideas, and they put it in front of Patty and says, "Which one do you want to do?" And she went, "That one."
You know what, Lunga? I just thought about it. We could say Lucasfilm is sexist right now, because the first female Star Wars director isn't going to get her movie? Are you telling me you disagree with the female Kathleen Kennedy? Or what's going on here?
Oh no!
Doom
Talk will be reporting on this soon, guys.
What is he saying about the Kathleen Kennedy thing?
Well, 2 weeks ago, he said that all of her projects are being deleted or not made. And then 2 weeks later, it comes out that she extended her contract. And he made another video saying something stupid again. I don't know. I don't even remember what it was.
I think she said that. I think he said that she has no control and that she's kind of just there.
Yeah,
something funny. Like, it was pretty awesome.
I find out my Doomcock news from you guys, so I don't know.
Gotta love it. Gotta love it. I love the guy. I respect the grind. You know, I really respect him in that man.
I respect Mike Zero more than I do Doom.
Okay.
Oh, 100%.
He's the funniest troll. If you watch him, he's like, like just the way he talks, he's about to bust out laughing.
Yeah,
because it's like, oh, it's gonna get 50K views.
Mike Zero, you can tell he's doing it for the money. Doomcock like kind of believes his own shit, and I think he did it for the clout for a long time. But like, I saw that video he did with Jeremy where they did that car ride thing, and he had the mask on and shit. It's like, oh man, this guy's not living a good life.
Yeah, and Mike Zero, it is definitely about the money. And
the dude's like, and is like literally like
YouTube.
He's like literally in his mom's basement. That like the whole joke about you're living in your mom's basement. He's literally in a basement filming these videos. It's like a dartboard behind him that you see like at a bar.
1986. I
love him, man. He's so funny. It's like he has a Mad Libs like book, and he just fills in like random ass names. Because remember, that's how he plans his episodes. One of the videos that actually showed up on my brother's YouTube account when he was like going through YouTube. Like my brother barely watches Star Wars, and this freaking showed up. It was like Daisy Ridley attacks Hayden Christensen and reveals the truth about Kathleen Kennedy. It's literally like a Mad Libs board.
How many names can I put in here?
He probably has like a keyword like for like every video like already planned out where he's just like, I got to switch the names. George Lucas reveals Kathleen Kennedy's ulterior motive for Bob Chapek or something like that. Like just constant shit.
One of my favorite ones. I watched like one of his videos in the past 2 years. I think it was like George Lucas destroys Brie Larson's trilogy or something.
I freaking love it. Brie Larson's going to make a trilogy.
Destroys, revealed, leaked.
I love him. We should get him on. I'm gonna get that guy on a stream one time.
He's never talked to anyone else in the community.
No, he's so private, which is fun.
Because he knows.
Because he doesn't care.
It's awesome.
Money, and it's
like it sucks that fake news goes around. And I actually talked to some dude at a GameStop who legitimately believed one of his videos. So that's scary, but it's still pretty hilarious. Like
I'm willing to bet that if you actually like talk to Mike Zero, like if you ran into him on the street and were just like. You didn't say that you knew who he was, but you asked him about Star Wars. He'd probably be like, I'm gonna be honest with you, man. I haven't seen a Star Wars movie since like 2002.
Have you seen Star Wars?
He's like, what? He's like, yeah, no, I don't really watch those. I just kind of know.
He's old school YouTube though.
Oh, he's 5-6 years. He
used to make like I remember watching videos, but
I remember watching his videos before episode 8 came out because he wasn't proven to be a huge liar back then. So I was like,
I watched his I watched his Rise of Skywalker video, and it was like he was saying that Rey was gonna like for the finale, Rey was gonna do the Holdo maneuver through a Star Destroyer or something. I'm like, yeah, maybe this guy's not very, very honest. What he hears.
Well, he did get one thing right. Rian Johnson's trilogy,
man.
According to this article that said the things about the creative differences, Kathleen Kennedy signing on. The specific wording he used was Rian Johnson's trilogy is shelved. Now, when I read this, I'll give you guys my take just because I feel like it's a safe take and me kind of playing the fence here, but I genuinely believe it. I feel like he was saying that offhandedly. Like, oh fuck, Goldman's walking off. He's like, I'm done. I'm not doing this. I thought he said it as in like it's delayed because we literally have no updates on it. I feel like even Rian Johnson himself is like, I think Ryan believes that it's still happening. I think Kathleen Kennedy believes it's still happening. I believe neither of them know when. And so in the past official updates we've had about this trilogy, from Rian Johnson, it's always been, yeah, I'm still doing it. Kathleen Kennedy in 2019, Kathleen Kennedy said, this is before David Benioff and D.B. Weiss left, she said, I'm going to sit down with David and Dan from Game of Thrones, and I'm going to sit down with Rian Johnson, and we're all going to plan the next 10 years of Star Wars. I don't know how that meeting went, and if it did happen and it was shelved after, then she didn't like what Ryan had to say. But part of me feels like that trilogy is still a possibility just because Ryan's doing his Knives Out 2 thing. He's coming off of, like, Knives Out and Knives Out 2, which will be successful, whether it's good or bad. And it just seems to me that he has momentum going forward that he could carry into Star Wars. And I genuinely feel like he could eventually make this trilogy, especially if me and Lunga have always said this, if Kathleen Kennedy is still Lucasfilm president. But from the report, it is shelved. Lunga, start with you first, clockwise again.
Okay.
What's your take?
First of all, listen, we all know why you keep saying you want this to happen, just because you want to be right. So let's throw it out there.
Oh, fuck yeah.
Okay. So let's get that out there right off the bat. This has been shelved since 2018. Okay, let's not even pretend it's been shelved, and they're just playing it up. Oh yeah, of course. I think it's there, and she's like, well, if we ever get back to it, we'll give you a call, Ryan. He's like, I went, sure. So unless he gets an official, we're not doing it, like not shelved, like canceled, of course he's gonna say, yeah, it's still a thing. Just let me give you an example. Now, this doesn't happen here, but well, let's move over to the DC side. Okay, let's talk about Warner Brothers for a second. Ava DuVernay was supposed to be doing a new Gods film. Okay, and it was talked about for a long time. Then it was like no one talked about it anymore, just like kind of Rian Johnson thing, right? Then someone asked her in an official interview, and they asked her, she's like, "Oh yeah, we're still working on it. We're working on the script. I'm working with the original writer. I forgot. Oh my god, was it Ordway? I forgot the name of the writer from the comic books. But yeah, we're working together. This is happening. You know, we were doing so much work. It's blah, 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 blah. I'm not kidding you. A week later, DC announced that the New Gods project is canceled.
Damn.
So
that's dirty.
Yeah. So now they were way mean. Kathy likes Ryan, so she wouldn't do that to him, but she'd give him a heads up, you know, like, so he doesn't have an interview saying we're still doing it, and a week later.
Sorry, Ryan. It's just not working out, sweetheart. I really tried, but no one likes your movie.
But the only reason why, again, for me, it's been shelved the entire time. The only reason why Rian Johnson specifically is saying, yeah, it's still a thing, is because they haven't told him it's canceled. It's still hovering. So in his mind, he's not lying when he says, oh no, it's still a thing we're going to plan on looking at.
Before we move on to Goldman or Palpameme's answer, you have a super chat question for you.
Go to Palpameme's next.
Yay.
Lunga, are you gonna catch up on the Flash or make an appearance in this after party?
Geez, no, I haven't watched the second half or new season of the Flash. I watched the first half of the season, whatever it was, like 3-4 months ago. That's all I've watched. So I'm not completely caught up. It's not a great show like it used to be, and I have no idea who DJ Eric is. But I can't make an appearance on a show unless I'm invited, Gamerman. So I tell him to invite me, I guess. I don't know.
Well, anytime I see a show that has CW on it, I immediately will not watch it. I don't think they've ever put anything out that I'm like, oh, I need to watch that.
There's some good stuff there. Stargirl's great.
Fuck that is Palpamemes. Your boy Ryan, trilogy shelved.
You know what?
How do you feel?
This might shock you guys. Lunga, I'm with you. I think I've come to terms. I've been in denial. I've been naive, that naive little boy, for so long. No, here's the thing for me. I feel like if you told me this news 2-3 years ago, like this news came out or whatever, I would be very upset. But with the way Star Wars is going, it's going in a whole different direction. It's clear that Favreau and all them, they're kind of taking over that future, the franchise Filoni. I hate saying it, I'm not that disappointed. I mean, if someone asked me if I hope his trilogy still comes or whatever it is, we're like, yeah, sure, because I'd like to see what he does, but I'm not really upset by this because I mean, I'm just looking at what we already know is coming, and I'm pretty ecstatic, so I'm okay with that. And like, of course, you know, with how divisive Last Jedi is, I'm not saying that's why you shouldn't give someone a movie, but I mean, I can see Disney overlords like, we don't want that guy back. He can lose us a lot of money, and he can piss off a lot of people. There's already
see his name.
Yeah, it's already just, you know, oriented. But I mean, here's my take. If Rian Johnson gets to direct a Mandalorian episode, his trilogy is still happening. If Rian Johnson does not get to direct a Mandalorian episode, it's never going to happen. But no, I'm not too upset, honestly, because there's a lot more that I am looking forward to that is way over Rian Johnson's trilogy. That's my final verdict.
Here we go. Goldman.
The man himself.
Holding try and true for Rian Johnson.
He's going to play an appropriate song.
Copyright.
Don't get his copyrighted.
Oh, crap.
This is a very sad time.
Oh no!
I'm currently going through the 5 stages of grief.
What stage are we at right now?
Right now we're in the first one, which is
Denial.
My only hope, the report came from IGN. How reliable are they? We don't know. You haven't seen it from the Hollywood Reporter, although you said it came from someone from them. It's just sad times. Sad times. I feel like I've lost a son before he was born. I'm not sure how to move forward. Seems like so much is lost. I'm not ready. I'm not ready for this. I'm not ready to let go. So
let go.
Those
let the past die, Goldman. Come on, your favorite movie. Let the past die.
Says you got to let go of everything you fear to lose.
Yeah, I love when my therapist tells me that whenever my mom is on the verge of death. Just forget about her. Come on, man. Come on, grow up. Trust the Force.
So yeah, we can only hope for a better future.
Sorry, Goldman. Sorry, but
to
have a look on this one.
To commemorate, I might watch The Last Jedi again tonight in black and white.
Black and white.
That guy.
So let's
release the Ryan cut.
It's a dark times. We can only hope that he returns one day.
Hashtag restore.
I'm just waiting for the memes. Somehow Ryan returned.
Good God.
The hood and glasses were for effect.
Oh, I hope so. I do feel like back in 2018, 2017, even when they announced like Rian Johnson having a trilogy, it did feel like a different time to be a Star Wars fan, and it did feel like his trilogy was not only expected, like it was just going to happen no matter what. But as time has gone on, and as the lack of like official commitment to it has continued to go on, it does seem like it's not going to happen. And it's weird because like his page is still up there on StarWars.com that this is happening. Legally, I do not think he could say this is going to happen and it not happen. I
because of shareholders and it all comes out.
Like he couldn't come out and constantly say I'm still working on my trilogy if they're completely not doing it. And the last time he said something, which was they have to work out their schedule, and I believe that. But man,
I think when you say it felt different, I think one of the biggest, and this is just how I feel about it, feeling like a different time. I think the biggest reason was because whenever Ryan's trilogy was announced, to me, and I just speak for myself, it felt like, okay, Ryan's trilogy is what the future of Star Wars is going to be, right? Because if you look at the sequels, how long do they last? A certain amount of time. If Brian gets a trilogy, okay, that's going to start from 2020 to 2027, 2028. That is the future of Star Wars. So I think with that feeling, but now we're in a whole new era of Star Wars, and so there's a lot more that fans are looking forward to. That's not going to be, the only new thing in Star Wars is Rian Johnson's next movie. So for me, it definitely feels different, and also one of the main reasons why I'm like, I feel bad, but I don't really care that much because there's a lot more going.
Do you think Ryan cares? Do you think Ryan like genuinely had a story that he was like, this is where I want to go with Star Wars?
I don't know, because he's been saying they're working on the story for like 15 years now. Like every interview is like, yeah, we're still working out the story. We're still working out the story. And it's just like, you worked out the story yet?
That's how I felt, because it's like, hey, you realize, Ryan, you're supposed to be the one with the story, sweetheart. You got to come to them and be like, here's my idea. And maybe
there's only one Johnson movie that I'll say, you know what, I'll give it a chance, is if they just give him the High Republic. He can't screw up any legacy characters. He can't screw up any legacy characters.
Fair enough, yeah.
Yoda's in the High Republic.
Oh shit! Well, hey, George Lucas already ruined Yoda.
He already fucked him up in The Last Jedi. Had him acting all crackhead out after.
Do you want to see Empire Strikes Back?
Triggered.
Do you want to see Empire Strikes Back?
I've seen it. It was great. I don't need Rian Johnson to try to do it again. Here's my thing with him doing High Republic is that you say he's not going to be legacy characters. I have been so fed up with the Jedi and the way they have been since George Lucas fucked them up in the prequels. I want to see them do good, and Ryan would be like, so what's actually going to happen is in the third movie of my trilogy, it'll turn out all the High Republic Jedi were Sith the whole time. It's fucking crazy.
Y'all bring out
the Ninth Jedi.
I would trust I would trust anything for them, man. I trust him to raise my kid.
Holy shit!
That's why you don't have children, Goldman.
Hey, I'm only 23. Calm down.
You would give him a boy. You would give him a boy, and he would come back a fucking like robot woman and be like, "I subverted your expectations."
And I'll write it, man. I'll make an hour-long video about why that was so thematically resonant.
Looking like Joan Rivers' android from Spaceballs, right?
Yeah. So I guess we'll go around the room and vote, and whatever our vote is how this is going to happen. Yay or nay on Rian Johnson's trilogy happening? I'm going to give my vote.
Double. Me and Lunga, we got 4 points. No,
I'm gonna give it a yay.
You got 10.
You think it's still going to happen?
All 10.
I
want to say it. I want to believe that it's happening, just so I can, of course, say I told you guys so, but also just because I do genuinely believe that if Rian had his own part of the Star Wars universe, that he wasn't connected to any established characters, he could actually tell something that probably could be more original in Star Wars than we've seen since the first Star Wars. I truly believe that. But at the same time, his handling, and in my opinion, his reasoning for some of the decisions he's made in The Last Jedi and just his choices as a filmmaker sometime, they don't really impress me, and they don't resonate with me. Like when it came to Knives Out, I remember seeing it and being like, oh, this is pretty good. But I hated the twist that he tried to do, where he was like, oh, you think it's Chris Evans' character? Yeah, you do. Well, it's not. But it was. And it's like, that's not like, you didn't impress me with that. I was just like,
twist within a twist.
Yeah, I was like, okay, so fuck you too, buddy. I don't know what you want me to say. Wasn't like as enthusiastic about that movie as everyone else was. So yeah, I'm on the fence with Ryan. How the fuck are you gonna be a Rian Johnson fan and not see that movie? It's a
Who said I'm a Rian
movie.
Johnson fan?
You That's fucking me. Like the sequel. No plan.
No, I like.
You like The Last Jedi.
I have problems with it.
Okay,
I have problems with it, but I like The Last Jedi. Yeah.
Okay. Well, my question to you guys is:
I love Luke in The Last Jedi, so
especially you and Goldman, because I'm pretty confident Lunga's seen this movie. Have you guys seen Looper?
Mm-hmm. Long time ago.
Yeah, it's been a while.
I actually like Looper.
I was say I love Looper. I remember seeing that
or whatever
theaters, and like I think I was in middle school or something. I went to go see Looper, and I walked out of the theater. Like, that was an amazing movie. And I go back and watch it. It's still pretty fucking good.
Yeah, but you weren't. Yeah.
But that's its own self-contained universe. It's
exactly,
different. He tried to do what he did there in a Star Wars universe. Like
in the middle of a trilogy,
Ryan, there was no Looper 1, 2, or 3 before this one for you to do that. You created the whole universe. You did not create the Star Wars universe. You cannot do that in the Star Wars universe. It doesn't work.
Fair enough.
You're not wrong. And it didn't work. And it got to the point where Kathy had to treat it like a bad breakup and said, I'm sorry, Ryan.
I know, because they love each other.
She's ghosting him.
Like, Kathy can't fully admit, like, no, we're not doing your trilogy. She's just like patting him on the head. Okay, yeah, we'll talk later.
Like he probably texted her a couple months ago, like, hey, Kathy, just want to let you know Knives Out starting production soon, but I will be done mid 2022. So full speed ahead. I'm ready when you guys are. Just let me know. Just let me know.
Red.
You up,
Kathy?
He's like sending her memes and stuff. Hey,
yeah,
how's it going?
We know he's got a Snapchat.
So congrats on the extension. Yeah,
gets left on red.
He's like Kathy.
Every day.
Remember that day we went to have drinks the morning before we were shooting on The Last Jedi. You remember making The Last Jedi and how fun that was?
Yeah.
Wouldn't it be great to do that 3 more times?
Kathy's like, yeah, but I hate the harassment I got from it.
You'll get the 3 dots, dude. And then they disappear.
Well, but another thing I wanted to note is that in his announcement for his trilogy, it was said that he would write and direct the first one, not the second and third, the first one. So what if they still committed to that and they're like, Ryan, we're going to let you direct the first one, not going to let you write it. You'll get a story credit. He can give us the story, and then they'll fix it as they please.
Oh, I was going to say if he's writing the whole 3, because that was the original plan, right? Writing
I would kill myself.
Okay, so here's my plan. So he writes all 3, directs the first one. Then the second director, they bring in J.J. Abrams, and he comes in and destroys everything that Rian Johnson set up from the first one. And then Johnson comes back for the third one because they fired episode 3, that director, and then Ryan comes back and shit, I gotta put pieces together. Oh crap, JJ, you screwed everything up.
JJ will kill his main character, just like
JJ would literally end the film. You
that.
know how like you know how sometimes at the end of the movies they'll be like to my dear friend Ron or something like that, like in loving memory or something. JJ would end the film would be like for my friend Ryan ... And then JJ would
retire
retire
the
with
Lucasfilm
filming.
cinematic universe. It's going to be all the drama within the Lucasfilm.
Yeah, good God.
Yeah, I'd like
Good
to see
God.
that show. Like
Well-
keeping up. Was it Keeping Up with the Kardashians? But Keeping Up with Lucasfilm. It's just all the freaking drama that goes on.
Keeping up with the Kennedys, pretty much, with Kathleen Kennedy running shit, or the Skywalkers, keeping up with the Skywalkers.
Skywalker.
So, last topic before we wrap today's show is Disney Plus Day sucked. And speaking of a disaster of Lucasfilm behind the scenes shit, we were talking about this earlier. Disney Plus Day. I don't think I've ever had a video age more poorly than the video I put out last week, saying that like Disney, like why Star Wars fans are gonna love Disney Plus Day. And
It did pretty well, didn't it? Too.
no,
Like,
it did well. Yeah,
For engagement and stuff. Like, oh
nothing.
yeah, let's go.
We got
And then like,
fucking
oh
nothing.
screw you, Star Wars only.
Yeah, we had a Kenobi sizzle reel, which I'll note my Instagram account got taken down because I posted that. So shout out to Instagram and fuck you to Disney. So
And can we
I
mention
got-
that it wasn't even a
a-
new sizzle
a
reel? It was like a
publicly
rehashed
posted-
sizzle reel from they showed the
Yeah.
investors last year.
Someone told me
It wasn't even
that
new.
the Disney Plus account wasn't an official, but I can't confirm whether it was or not. It says Disney Plus Brazil or whatever it was, so I don't know. But
it was a South Asia account,
South
and
Asia, it was
I'm pretty-
publicly
dude,
posted.
I'm pretty confident it was legit because they can't have that name and
I
not
was
do
gonna
it.
say,
And
where
this
do they get
happens
that
all the
from?
time. Yeah,
Yeah.
that happens all the time.
That was
Remember when
like
They literally just put the wrong date on the
schedule.
scheduling. You ever
Yes,
you're ever scheduling
yes.
a video and you put the wrong date? I
Well,
do it all
if
the
you
time.
think if you think Southeast Asia, it was midnight.
Yeah.
It was like because it was like noon here, and it was like it was midnight over there
Uh-huh.
of the
Mhm.
next day of
Mhm.
the 12th or whatever it was. So technically,
They're like,
in their
we
time
did,
zone,
we did what you guys told us to, post it on this day. I mean, well, don't get mad at me.
like Jesus, we're not seeing say posted at 12:01, buddy. Wait, a minute.
Yeah, that
Yeah,
day was
they-
disappoonting. I feel bad for my
they
dad.
fucked- They
I'll have
fucked
my
me.
dad up
They
so
fucked
much.
the fans. They fucked up Disney Plus Day. Going around, were you guys even disappointed, or was this just like expected at this point? Were you just like, yeah, Lucasfilm and their same old bullshit? What do you have to say, Longa?
It's not surprising. I mean, when we were talking in our little group chat when it happened, I'm like, so that's it then. That was with the trailer.
I was so
And-
naive. I was
and-
like, just wait.
yeah,
wait.
yeah. Oh no, there's another one. There's
Hold on. I
but
heard.
but Star Wars only said the same thing. We've heard there's supposed to be another one. That this is just. I'm like, I don't know. I mean, it doesn't look like this was part of something. It was like that's it. And then
Sorry,
poof,
guys.
I'm like, oh yeah, that doesn't surprise me. Again, disappointed. Was I hoping for more? Was I like, trying to suspend my disbelief and say, maybe they'll give us something. Yeah, of course they have to. Right. They have to. But I was lying to myself just to like stay positive.
You're naive.
But when it happened, I'm like, yeah, that tracks. It tracks. And then, so it, yeah, no, it didn't surprise me. All I can hope, it's like, can it be this? Are they trying to save everything for Celebration next year? Is that what they're trying to do? I mean, that
Dude,
could be a thing, right?
my first celebration,
be
if
a
I go,
thing.
please.
And let's
You
be
know
honest,
what's gonna
if we-
happen.
Yeah, if we go to Celebration and
Oh.
there's like announcement,
Old Republic.
announcement,
Oh man, it's done. I'm done.
it's gonna blow our minds, right?
No,
Yeah.
no. You know what's going to happen? We're all going to go to Celebration, and they're going to be like, "Here's a clip for Mando season 3. Here's a
They
clip
just-
for Kenobi." And it's just going to be stuff that we already knew.
They
And it's
replay
just
the
gonna be
sizzle
little
reel from the
te-
Kenobi
teasers.
show.
Yeah,
They just
yeah.
replay that same
They're
one.
they're just going to be like, and we're happy to announce that we are going to have a Star Wars movie release in 2023. And some guy in the audience, what's it about? Star Wars.
The
That's
franchise.
Yeah, they're not going to
It's
give
a
a shit. We're gonna get
documentary
some video
on-
games or something.
A random character.
And I feel we've talked about this ad nauseum. I know it's off topic, but someone in the chat earlier said something about how can George Lucas screw up something he created.
Oh, I saw that.
I would think we've talked about this many times about all the help George had in the original trilogy between Marshall
Yeah.
Lewis and Kirchman and all these people that made the movies what they were. Like the greatest, which most fans think Enterprise Empire is the best one. And that wasn't all George's stuff. The changes that made the stuff great was other people's involvement, not George's.
He hated the "I know" line from Han Solo, and if you're going to tell me that wasn't a good pick, he hated
And they
the
brought
fact
it
that
back
Irvin
for Rise of
Kershner did
Skywalker.
Master
And I know
Shot
there's
and
prequel
all that.
lovers. They're going to say the prequels are the greatest thing ever created. I get it. I know they're out there. But yeah, guys, the prequels is
Even
what
his-
you get when George Lucas is left to his own devices.
Even his
and
wife,
oligarch.
his wife cried in the car. His
Yes.
ex-wife cried because it was so bad. Yeah, no, George can mess up something. I mean, to be fair, I mean, you see a lot of Harry Potter people do this with J.K. Rowling, where they're like, oh, like, she made this great story, but now people don't like her, and they also don't like the new movies that they've come out with, and the what was it, The Cursed Child or whatever that came out.
Yeah,
I don't know
was
if
a
it was
stage
written
play.
by her
That
or
was a
something.
stage play.
Yeah.
No, she had involvement in it.
Yeah.
I don't think she wrote it. I think she had someone write it. And I honestly, Fantastic Beasts, I have to look at it. I know she's heavily involved, but she's not as directly involved, I think, as she was with the original ones. So there's a little bit and again, most of the hate going towards her is more culture stuff, really.
Yeah, that's not wrong. I'm trying to think of another artist, kind of like in George's situation, where he like someone ruined their own creation. I'm not saying George Lucas ruined Star Wars, but I am saying that if you don't like the sequels and you don't like what happened with Star Wars, it all started with the prequels and the special editions. And there's literally, like, I've always said this, and I think it's true because of the patterns and the complaints. Any complaint you have about Disney Star Wars, you can apply to George Lucas back in the 2000s.
Oh, and can we mention you guys watched the Boba Fett thing, right?
No,
I actually
forgot
did
it
not.
came
I
out.
actually did not. I forgot.
Right.
to.
Oh, you didn't?
I read
forgot
the-
George was on there.
I'd rather pick
I
my
had a
nose.
feeling.
All right,
Yeah.
I'm gonna watch it right after this show.
Watch it, but there's just
Man.
one line I want to say because they do talk about the Christmas special.
He didn't like Boba Fett, did he?
No. But he was there was all Boba Fett. He's talking about how it's supposed to be a story. Well, I don't want to spoil. Just watch it. I don't want to tell you the whole story.
Fine.
But there's one line which is not a funny spoiler, but they're talking about the special, and you could almost he talks about it, and then they came up with the idea for the special, and you could see like the heavy sigh that was behind his face. Like, do I really have to talk about this? I don't want to talk about this.
He's like, I don't know, some random dude at my company drew like a concept art for him, and then we put him in the film. I don't know.
I was like,
Yeah,
why
but
the
they
fuck
talk
did I
about
make
how
this
his
franchise?
technically his first appearance was that it wasn't the movies, and he was in a parade in San Mateo. Was that his hometown, or is that where he was living at the time? San Mateo, wasn't it? Star Wars only. Somewhere in California. Where he
Modesto, most likely.
Modesto.
Yeah. Well, that's where
he
he
had
was
some
born
little
and
parade
raised.
there. And he put all people in costume, and Boba Fett's first appearance in the costumes in this parade.
Yeah, it was likely Modesto then. Geez, I don't know if he ruined it, but he definitely fucking didn't help it.
It was actually a cool little special. I'd watch it, guys.
I probably will.
I'll check it out.
I forgot it happened actually.
No, it's hard to when all you could think about was how disappointing Disney Plus Day was.
It's like when the biggest news was the Fortnite skin.
Oh, fuck me. I mean, did you guys think there was going to be something like about Andor at least? Like that's what I thought.
They showed it
we don't
in
know what
the
the fuck's happening with Andor.
Of course.
Creative differences, script delays.
I mean, we got on the investor day. We got the whole thing with the backstage. We got the.
It was
makeup
beautiful.
people,
That's
the
investor
suits,
day.
everything.
That's
And it was
That's
on
the
YouTube
money
for
comes
free.
from.
Yeah, we
wasn't
all
it
could
like
see it. It wasn't hidden like the
watch
scissor
it.
reel they gave us now.
They couldn't
Thanks a
even
lot.
get Diego Luna to just like record a 5-second video saying, "Hey guys, Andor is growing great. See you in 6 months."
Yeah.
It's
Have
sad
Alan
when
Tudyk
that's
show
what
up
we wish
behind him
for
and
that
be like,
happened.
I'm back too.
Uh,
It really does seem like Lucasfilm does not know how to market shit these days. like they're literally like, we have a Star Wars thing coming out. What should we do for it? Well, we'll release it.
I don't know.
That's
They
it.
marketed the Kenobi show very well about a year ago. They did a very good job. Like okay,
Oh,
it is kind of crazy how they spoiled probably the biggest spoiler for the show, which is that Hayden Christensen is back. But still, look how much hype that built up. And then so that's why in my head, and I made my video on it, I was like, okay, so for when this trailer inevitably happens, because literally every source in the entire universe is saying this is happening. I was like, okay, they're probably going to show some Darth Vader in this. And then when the trailer doesn't even happen, I'm like, what went wrong? Why was this a day that I shouldn't have missed? Come on.
I mean,
Where's Twitter? Tell me.
Roosevelt is saying in the comments that they're gonna have to show something at D23.
No,
I
it
would
came
do-
out
I-
actually today. It came out today that there's going
I
to be
would
no
hold-
trailers for it.
I would hold out on that just because D23 is mostly about the parks, and embarrassingly enough, Bob Chapek himself was supposed to be at D23 to do like a panel. He's not showing up now, and people are saying a Disney spokesperson said that it's because scheduling issues.
oh my
But,
god! I hear
but
that
not
one more time.
because
hate
because
that
he's whatchamacallit gonna get booed off stage if he shows up. No one likes Chapek. Like D23 is mostly about Disney
Especially
stuff, like
especially
park
Parks
stuff.
fan. You talk to any Disney
Oh,
park
Parks
fan.
fans hate him.
Yeah.
him.
Have you guys heard what Galaxy's Edge originally was going to have? Like, you're going to have drones that are X-Wings flying over you.
Yep, and he took it all off.
Nope. Too much liability on the insurance.
It doesn't matter because Batu's not a real place. It's not a real freaking place.
I've never been, so I can't
technically,
confirm or deny.
None of them are real places. I get that. Don't come at me, guys. I know Tatooine's not a real place. I get it, but you know what I mean. It's not a real place in the Star Wars universe. They created it and made it a place in Star Wars that wasn't there, and like put it in whatever some reference somewhere. Wasn't, guys? Was it a book or something? They
referenced like 5 different books that they went to Batu.
F the books. Are they actual novels? Oh yeah, those ones that no one read.
Actually, Longa.
Sequel novels, right?
Actually, if you ever read the book Thrawn Treason, the 3rd book, in that one trilogy,
I couldn't get past the first one.
Oh fuck! Well, okay.
Not that the story's bad; it was fine. But I was doing an audiobook, and the guy.
Oh yeah, I understand. I completely understand.
I'm like, I can't listen to this. It's just.
There's 2 trilogies of Thrawn books. One's with when he's in the Empire, and the other one's with the Chiss Ascendancy. The one within the Empire, in the 3rd book, him. Oh fuck! No, it's not the 3rd book. Oh shit!
Second one.
It's the one. It's the second one with Vader. Thrawn Alliances. He goes to Batu with fucking Vader. I didn't even realize that. I hated that book too because I like
they added that just to make it real.
You're not wrong. Yeah. But I listened to the audiobook of that shit and it was so cringe because anytime Vader would get into a fight, he literally be like, he pulls out his lightsaber and then he goes double vision, and that's him using the Force, and then he'd attack somebody, and it happened constantly. He would just say fucking double vision out of nowhere. It absolutely cringed.
Let's make up this place that looks exactly like Tatooine.
It looks nothing like Tatooine.
If the pictures I've seen in the park, it looks like Tatooine to me. It looks arid. It looks.
People say they want Coruscant. How the heck
are you guys okay?
Coruscant?
I don't care what Star Wars fan you are, what you love.
Hero?
What was that?
I'm gonna shank this guy at fucking Celebration. He whispers schedule and shit at Celebration.
Man, Cairo.
Fucking
come on, man.
But it's just like, how are you gonna have any kind of establishment that's of food or drinking, right? And it not be the cantina from Tatooine. I mean, I don't care what segment of the Star Wars universe fandom you come from. Everyone knows the cantina.
I'm with you there. Wait, isn't there already a cantina somewhere in the world that's actually like
somewhere in the world is not bread? Disney? God damn it! Okay,
I'm just saying. I'm just saying, Lunga, to fulfill your dreams of a 7-year-old boy, there is a cantina.
Yeah. Let me go to Thailand or something.
That is Mos Eisley's cantina.
It's in Anaheim, I believe. It's close to.
Perfect. Okay, so when we go to Celebration this year or next year,
oh dude, I hope we go, but I'm pretty confident that place is going to be packed. That
drop
him off. It is going to be packed.
Yeah, we'll drop you off, Lunga, and then we'll head off to Batu.
Blow it all up. Just blow it all up. Just get a Death Star.
Palpamemes, you look so young. I don't think you'd be allowed to get into the bar. Me and Goldman probably would be, and then Lunga to have a shot and call it a night.
I'm telling you, dude. Whenever
I have to tell everyone, they're my kids. They're fine. Don't worry. Just bring them.
We can get Lunga the senior discount.
Wow. I'm not that old. Jesus Christ.
No, it's funny you say that. Whenever I was going out for my 21st birthday, which is in July, I'm telling you, dude, those bar, whatever you call it, they're like, look at my ID, like, bro, what? And it didn't help the fact that whenever I got my ID renewed, they, instead of using the picture I sent them, because you can do it online now, they used the picture from when I was 16 years old. Granted, I don't look much different now than I did then.
Much different.
But there was enough that they were like,
youth's on your side.
The hell?
You must have been to a semi-strict bar. When I was a freshman in college, I used an Asian person's fake and got in. So
I think here in Tulsa,
I never had to use a fake.
I think they have like really strict laws.
In Chicago, when I was in Lunga's territory, I literally lost my wallet, and then I showed up to the bar 2 or 3 times, and every time I was just like, "Hey, I lost my wallet. My friend's gonna pay for me." And every single time the bartender was like, "I got you." And fucking, he's buying our drinks next time. Good stream, guys. Can't shake me. I've earned it. I plan to. I'll get a mini lightsaber, shove it as deep as I can, and tell you.
No, you got to use the Sith dagger.
The Sith dagger. Oh yeah, from the fucking thing. And then with his dead body, we can line it up with possibly a reveal for a Star Wars.
I'm gonna buy one of those daggers. They have them on Etsy. That actually is a thing, just to piss you all off. It's gonna be sitting right there. It's gonna replace my lightsaber.
It'll work.
Well, I'm gonna be we'll be looking for Lunga. I'll pull up the thing and I'll be like, oh, there he is.
It'll line up. It'll line up with. I don't fucking know. What would it line up with in the back?
Trying to make a joke, we can't find it.
Okay.
Oh, he's got it. He's got it. Yeah.
Yeah, I did 3D. I didn't even show this, but I 3D printed a Mandalorian dagger too.
Oh shit!
I actually put leather wrapping on there. So
we're gonna kill a Cairo.
I'll let you borrow this. We can shank them with this. So just
right in the side, real quick.
Wow.
Real quick one and done. We'll walk off. He'll be on the ground bleeding out, and we're just gonna walk away and act like nothing happened.
All right, Lunga.
No, you gotta say Jedi business and walk away.
Jedi business. Go
No.
back to your drinks.
I would yell "The Last Jedi sucks" really loud after we did it, so everybody would surround that area to jump whoever said it. You know.
I will say, if we ever went to a restaurant that serves drinks, Star Wars only will definitely get in. I've seen him. Goldman, he's bored. He looks like he can get in, but unfortunately, we'd have to order chicken nuggies for Palpamoops.
I'm on the kids menu. Who said it? Dylan, my boy Dylan. I'm gonna get a kids menu.
Like I'll have a beer. He'll have a whiskey.
You got
some
one
steaks.
kids menu. Give me that mac and cheese and some chicken nuggets, dude.
Chicken nuggies for him.
I don't care. It slaps.
What's funny is out of the four of us, I know I'm probably the pickiest eater as well. And if Miss Only is watching the stream, she will tell you. She will be like, "This motherfucker will only eat off like a kid." Like if we go to a Mexican restaurant, I'm from Texas too. I know Mexican food, and you tell me everything you got. I'm like, "Hey, I either want nachos with only chips and cheese, or you got any good chicken tenders? No, all right, you have a good day."
Nachos and tenders only.
You might be like me. Do you get only meat and cheese on your burger? Doesn't matter where the burger's from. I will.
I'm gonna throw you a curveball. I'm gonna throw you a curveball, partner.
Don't tell me you don't have
like
cheese
burgers.
Whoa!
I don't like
You're
burgers.
the second person I know that doesn't like burgers.
Never fucking liked them. I don't drink soda. I don't like spicy food. I barely like seafood.
That water diet.
I'll do salmon and calamari. Outside of that, keep your sushi shit away from me. Yeah, calamari's great, man. Not like good squid. But that's
the only real seafood to eat. People think I'm because I'm Sicilian, right? And seafood is supposed to be what we eat. Most of the stuff we eat, right? But I'm not a big seafood guy. I don't like tons of seafood.
Is this racist? I thought it was. I fucking love Italian food. I thought it was pasta, pizza, like all that.
Well, it depends what part of Italy. But Sicily's an island, too. Bro. Sicily's an island.
I'm gonna be in trouble.
Whenever I come back to Chicago, you
really
better make me some good Italian food because I fucking love Italian food. I was watching the Goodfellas the other day and just watching him cook the pasta at the end when he's losing his shit. I was like, I want to eat that. Like, I want to try it. Worth a shot.
Oh yeah, our regular menu of days is like I make this chicken with broccoli and red, yellow, and orange peppers, cooked in a wine reduction, and then I do some garlic spaghetti pasta tossed, and I got some breadcrumbs, seasoned breadcrumbs that I make myself that I put on there too. I'm a cook, yo.
I make pizzas, frozen pizzas, and some Kraft mac and cheese. You know,
I can make toast.
So frozen food. Thanks, Pelvinings. We got
God damn.
Hey, no, I do make some good chicken Alfredo. So you should be proud of me, Lunga.
From scratch, or was it in a box?
From scratch.
Okay.
Yeah, from scratch. Yeah, I ate it 5 days a week.
You know what's funny? You said you just mentioned macaroni and cheese.
I'm trying to
realize Alfredo is basically just Italian mac and cheese. It's just spaghetti and a cheese sauce. It's the same thing.
Well, they get it right. They fucking get it right. Let me tell you.
The fact that all three of you said that mac and cheese is a Thanksgiving meal triggered the living crap out of me.
That's true. I'll tell you, at my family's Thanksgiving, I get a big
conversation.
God, that triggered the hell out
It's
of
funny because every week at my work, we've been asking questions like that of like, what is like just something that is kind of divisive and you have to think about a little bit. So the two that we've had, the first one's easy, which is like, how do you like your steak? And mine was, I say medium or medium rare. Like if you go well done or rare, I don't respect that. And then the big one that this past week has happened that Miss Only and her sister both disagree with me on is A Nightmare Before Christmas, a Christmas movie or a Halloween movie.
Christmas movie.
I think the name is pretty.
I don't think I've ever seen it.
Self-evident, right?
You've never seen A Nightmare Before Christmas?
Christmas movie, right? If they're in.
Yeah,
it came out in 93.
We're canceling Goldman. Hashtag cancel Goldman, just so you guys know.
Wait. So Pal Memes, are you saying it's a Christmas movie?
Yeah, it's called The Nightmare Before Christmas.
Are you saying it's a Christmas movie?
Why wouldn't it be?
But it's all about Halloween.
I don't care. The name, then Nightmare Before Halloween. It doesn't say that, does it?
That's all right. That's fair. What about you, Lunga? Is it a Christmas
I haven't
movie?
seen it in so long.
Christmas movie. It's not all about Halloween.
Thank you.
They're from Halloween Town during Christmas.
Thank you.
It's a Christmas movie.
Yeah. Yeah, Miss Only was saying
Why-
they're doing basically all the Halloween stuff that day, and like
Yeah.
he's trying to make it about Halloween. I'm like, no, but it's Christmas. He's doing it all on Christmas. So yeah, I agree.
He's trying to do Christmas
and also
with
yes,
his feel.
yeah, I do think mac and cheese is also Thanksgiving food. It's not quintessential for Thanksgiving. You don't need it for Thanksgiving, but just like turkey isn't a Thanksgiving food. Like I have turkey every
no.
fucking day of the year. You're not gonna call it a Thanksgiving food. Like we do it on Thanksgiving because it's part of the fucking thing. But that's the same thing with mac and cheese. You can
Mac and
yeah,
cheese.
you
I
can
mean, it
have every
depends on the
day.
area of the country.
I mean, I love mac and
what I've
cheese,
seen,
but
Tell
mac
me
and
why
cheese
I'm
is
wrong,
more- I mean,
Goldman.
the Southern.
you're
Tell me
wrong.
why I'm wrong.
The reason is you're wrong is because I'm right. That's why.
Wow.
You won. Sorry, only you've lost.
Okay.
got me
Well,
there.
I'm the elder here, so I'm gonna say it is.
You're the wise
so
man.
Y'all just gotta fall in
Yeah,
line.
let's
There you
listen
go.
to the wise man.
He's got more life experience to tell us.
He's had more Thanksgiving, so he would know.
That's right. That's right.
Oh, man.
Die Hard for sure.
All right. All right. I think that's all we have for the fucking week or day, whatever the fuck we're doing here.
This is what happens when
Left you
Disney
guys
Plus
with some
say
good
sucks.
questions. Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
mac and
Thanks,
cheese.
thanks, Lucasfilm. You can't market anything, so now we're marketing macaroni and cheese and
I'm gonna go make a
Christmas.
frozen pizza after this too.
Dude, I'm
1,400
so-
calories.
Dude, I'm
right there.
salivating for some chicken tenders right now. I'm not gonna lie. Because
man.
You know, you brought up Mexican food. I was gonna cook, but now we ran a little later than I thought, so I'm just gonna order some Mexican.
Yeah, I was actually looking at DoorDash and thinking like, what? I was like, if I get high, what am I gonna order? Like trying to
So
pre-plan.
you're gonna be out of like about $40 is what you're gonna be.
do you have a village in?
No.
Do you know the
It's
places?
pretty. It's deep. It's cheaper out here in Orlando, thankfully, surprisingly,
Really?
because my area is close to a lot of like restaurants, and also I have like the Dash Pass thing, so I get it like pretty cheap for the most part.
Okay,
But
fair enough. Yeah.
yeah, I got to be smart with that shit. But yeah, no, that's after the high ground is hit, we'll see what rings the senses for DoorDash. But thank you all for tuning in. Make sure to comment if Thanksgiving food is considered like, is it going to include mac and cheese or is it not? And is A Nightmare Before Christmas a Christmas movie or a Halloween movie? Check us out on Spotify if you haven't already. And if you missed the show for any reason at all, thank you all for watching. This is a good stream. Until next time, my friends, Star Wars Only, joined with Lunga, Palpa Memes, and the Goldman. We'll see you all next time on Chatooine.
Wow.